Are you gonna help me today? All right, as you can see, we have a special guest star. We've got Zeusy on the video today. Oh my God, you're so handsome. I don't know about you, but winter was pretty rough this year. January and February, I don't even know what happened, but my goals did not. So here we are. It's the first day of spring today, March 20th, and we are going to kick off this new season with a spring reset and refresh. We are going to start working on our goals again and basically overhaul our lives a little bit so that we can be like a flower and bloom in this time of year. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Angelica. If you're returning, welcome back. So glad to have you. Today I'm going to be diving into my spring reset and refresh. I've got my checklist and I'll pop it up on the screen so you guys can follow along. I will also have this available in the description as a download, so you can download the PDF version, or I'll also include the Notion template because I built this out in Notion. So if you'd like to make a copy of that, you can. I was really struggling at the beginning of the year because normally I am a person that as soon as January hits, I'm like, all right, new year, new goals, let's go, let's hit the ground running. And I really struggled at the beginning of this year because I just felt so exhausted, so tired all the time. And I didn't really have that drive and discipline to actually dive into my goals. I did make some headway and like a little bit of progress, but it wasn't the way it had been in the past. And I was just trying to figure out why, but also at the same time, I've been really trying to listen to my body and recognize when I need times of rest and honor that and let my body rest when it needs to. And one thing that I found interesting as I was going through this and kind of, looking into some other videos of people talking about this too, is if we look at nature, wintertime is a time of rest and restoration. So animals are hibernating, you're conserving energy. Obviously, there's not as much sunlight, it's darker. It's generally this time of feeling more quiet, more restful, more peaceful. So I really just let myself feel those things and do those things. And then when we come into spring, which today is the first day of spring, March 20th, it's a time of renewal and refreshing and coming back to life, right? We have flowers are blooming and the sun is out and it's warmer and things just seem to be happening and feeling brighter and lighter. So I felt like this was the perfect time to go ahead and reestablish those goals, refresh what I'm doing on a daily basis. And I wanted to share this with you guys too, because I know that I am not alone in feeling like, what the heck even was the beginning of this year, and I did not make a lot of progress on the goals that I wanted to set for myself, and some of the goals that I did set no longer feel relevant to me. So this is the perfect time for us to go into our goals, reset them, think about the things that are really important to us, and give like that fresh new feeling to our routines and to our environment. I specifically want to share this with anyone who works a full-time job or feels like they have really limited time to pour into themselves and invest in themselves. I know with a full-time job or with a family, with young kids, it can feel like you have to put yourself on the back burner all the time. And I just want you to know that there's so many things out there that make women especially feel like they can't have the body that they want, they can't have the energy they want, they can't get fit, they can't feel good in their bodies unless they dedicate like this crazy amount of time and they do all this crazy meal prep and they do all these extreme things. And that is not true. So one of the things that I want to focus on today is refreshing your fitness routine, your nutrition, and then we're also going to talk about some things like your home, your environment, and how to set yourself up to feel like you can have success without the overwhelm and burnout. All right, it's starting to get really dark outside, so apologies for the lighting change, but let's go ahead and dive into this reset. So section 1 is all around fitness. I wanted to start here because I know a lot of women, especially women that work jobs and have families and all of these additional responsibilities, find it really, really difficult to find time for their health and fitness. And they feel like if they're not spending hours in the gym, then it's not worth it. I'm here to tell you that is not true. You can get incredible results even if you're just doing short workouts at home. I am going to be showing my checklist here on the side. I'm not going to read out every single checklist item, but That will be down in the description below if you want to download the PDF or download the Notion template as well, because I built this out in Notion. But the first thing that I want you to focus on for your fitness refresh is to set your minimum standard for every single day. So this is your floor. You are going to do this no matter what, no ifs, ands, buts, or whatever's about it. And this should be something that is relatively simple. So for myself, this is 10,000 steps a day and my 1 mile a day, which obviously that 1 mile rolls into my 10K steps. I decided to put in that extra little bit of a daily challenge for myself because I want to, number one, up my running, and number two, I want to make sure that I'm taking my dog on longer walks during the day. He gets a lot of really short ones, but I want to make sure he's getting a good long one for his exercise as well. So every single day since the beginning of the year, I have done 1 mile a day, whether that's running or walking. So it might take me 10 minutes, it might take me 30 minutes if we're doing an extra long sniff walk. But no matter what, I am doing that mile and I'm hitting my 10K steps in addition or within that as well. And if I do nothing else, that's totally fine. But I know if I at least did that, I'm going to feel good about myself. So I want you to identify what is that bare minimum movement activity that you're going to set for yourself. The second thing that I want you to do is to find an outdoor activity that you really enjoy. This is really just because, again, especially if you're working full-time, either at home or in an office, you are inside a lot. And getting outside, getting fresh air, getting sunlight is going to do so much for your energy levels, for your mindset, for your mood. And I really want you to focus on just getting outside a little bit more now that the weather is getting nicer. So that can be walking, that can be running, that could be playing golf, frisbee, pickleball, whatever the case may be, maybe some cornhole. Just find something to get you outside. All right, within your fitness, I also want you to find a structured program to follow. This can be a 6-week program, a 12-week program, just something that is going to give you structure and a plan to follow for at least a couple of weeks so that you don't have to think about it. Because if you have to sit there and figure out what you're going to do for your workout every single time you go to work out, you're not going to do it. You're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get burnt out, you're going to feel like it's too much time, too much energy, and it really is. Or if you're just making it up as you go, you're really not getting what you could be out of your workouts. And you know what they say, an okay plan done consistently is better than the perfect plan done inconsistently. So find something that aligns to your schedule when it comes to the amount of time the program requires, the number of days, and the equipment. Make sure that it aligns with what you are realistically able to do. So if you only have 20 minutes 3 times a week and you want to work out from home, then make sure that the program that you pick is 20-minute workouts a few times a week with either body weight or bands and dumbbells if you have that available to you. Don't try to pick a 1 hour long, 6-day-a-week full gym program if you're not going to be able to do that, because again, you're just going to get frustrated and give up on it. Another key thing, once you pick your program, is to schedule those workouts into your calendar. Put them in there as a meeting with yourself so that you're more likely to show up and actually get it done. So whether you're working out in the morning, at lunch, or in the afternoons, or after work, make sure that you're putting it on there. It's also great to help you remember to actually do your workouts when you see it on your calendar. In addition to just setting up your fitness goals and setting up those routines, you also want to have a way to measure and track your progress, because that's going to help give you excitement and continue the momentum, especially on those days where you start to feel a little like, ugh, I don't really want to do this. Whether you have a habit tracker or an app tracker, a calendar, just a journal, logging all of your workouts, logging your weights, because you're going to be able to track things like the amount of weight that you're using and see how you're getting stronger. You can track how you're feeling each day so you can see how your energy levels are going up. If you're running or doing some type of cardio, you can track your speed and your distance, and you can see the changes that you're making over time. And that's going to give you that extra motivation and excitement to see how you're improving and continue on that road. I think that tracking non-scale activities or measurements and celebrating those non-scale wins is so important. As the elder millennial crowd that I belong to, growing up in that early 2000s, extreme thinness type of culture, the scale was everything. The weight was everything. And it can really be such a deceptive form of tracking your progress. And it can really, really just suck the motivation and life out of you, because the scale can be fickle, okay? Our weight can fluctuate so much for so many different reasons. It can be like water weight, sodium reasons, food we just ate, something we just drank. It can be the time of our cycle, so many contributing factors. And that can really take a mental toll on so many women when they are working towards a goal. So I really like to not use the scale as much as possible as a tool of progress tracking. Of course, it can be helpful, but I would prefer, and I always tell my clients, to use other tools like body measurements, progress photos where you can physically see the changes in your body composition. You can track your energy levels, your stress levels, how well you're sleeping, even how your clothes are fitting. If you have a favorite pair of jeans that just quite couldn't button and now all of a sudden they're fitting perfectly and you just feel so confident when you put them on, that is way more important than the number on the scale. Another key thing to look at and refresh or reset in your fitness routine is your backup plans. Obviously, life comes at you. Things are always happening that you don't plan for and that can get in the way. There are a lot of common obstacles, and I actually did a whole podcast episode on obstacle planning, and I'll link that down in the description below. But there's a lot of things that we actually can plan ahead for. Things like working late or having to travel or, sick kids or something like that, where even though we don't know when it's happening, we know that those things commonly happen. So we can set a backup plan for ourselves. If I can't do my full workout, can I do 10 minutes? Can I get in an extra walk? Can I just do a couple of body weight squats while I'm cooking dinner? Every little bit of movement helps to progress you and helps to keep that momentum going when it comes to your consistency. Moving on to our nutrition reset and refresh. This is another area where a lot of people tend to struggle because the work week feels so overwhelming and busy and fast, and you're just like, I don't have time to sit here and cook healthy meals and to, make all these decisions when I have to literally get up, get out the door. I'm sitting in traffic, sitting at work, sitting in traffic again, and then I get home and it's 7:00 and I'm just tired. My brain is tired, my body's tired. I don't want to think, I don't want to do anything. It's easier to just drive through a fast food place, right? But there are some key things that you can do that don't require a ton of time and energy on your part that will help you make smarter, healthier decisions and give you that better energy and make you feel good and contribute to your fitness goals without taking a ton of time. Number one that I always recommend to my clients or anyone that I work with is to start having a protein-rich breakfast. So many people, myself included, before I started my fitness journey, are trying to grab the easiest thing they can as they run out the door. That's like a bagel, a granola bar, and their coffee, and they're out the door heading to work, and then they're wondering why mid-morning they're crashing, they feel tired, they feel groggy, they feel cranky. Duh, you did not give your body and your brain the sustenance that it needs to actually perform. So instead, I want you to focus on just having a couple of key options that you can go to that are high in protein. I recommend at least 20 grams of protein, preferably 25 or 30 grams. And look, don't overcomplicate it, okay? Whatever is going to help you be consistent with this. If that's a protein shake and a piece of fruit, that's better than a bagel, okay? I like to recommend something like egg muffins because you can mix that up with some cheese, some veggies, maybe like some sausage or bacon, cook them up in a muffin pan, and then you have 12 egg muffins that you can just grab and go every single morning. You don't even have to heat them up, or you can heat them up and put them on some sandwich bread or something like that. But they're so easy and so convenient. You could also do something like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese with some berries and some honey or some peanut butter. So tasty, so easy, and you can still, again, grab and go out the door. You don't have to waste a ton of time preparing something or putting something together, a lot of these meals you can prep ahead of time too. Rolling right into your other meals during the work week, okay? If you want to spend a ton of time trying fancy new recipes and stuff during the weekend, go for it. But during the work week, don't try to overextend yourself by doing crazy meal preps and crazy recipes. Keep it simple. So find 2 to 3 of your go-to meals that you know are easy to prepare and taste great, and that you can take on the go if it's a lunch. So for lunches, my favorite is to do a bowl. So you can do a base of rice or potatoes or quinoa. Then you have veggies. I like to use frozen veggies because I don't have to worry about them going bad in the fridge. I don't have to prepare them. All I have to do is cut open the bag, dump it in my container, and it's ready to go. And then you do a meat, and then, whatever flavorings or seasonings that you want to use. So for example, I have done in the past couple weeks, I did taco bowls, I did Greek chicken bowls, and then most recently I did a wood fire grilled chicken bowl. All so good, the same exact structure, right? So they're super easy to prepare, but they all have different flavors, and it gives me variety and something delicious to eat without it taking a ton of time or effort or even mental energy. For weekday dinners, again, I keep it really simple. I like to do a crock pot recipe. So I dump everything in the morning, and then by dinner, it's ready to go. Or, like a one pan or one pot meal, something that's super simple. Or I pull out the air fryer and I just throw in a couple steaks and some potatoes and use frozen veggies again. We are trying to eliminate time and decisions from our work week so that we can put that energy elsewhere. So again, find 2 to 3 lunches and 2 to 3 dinners that you can rotate through for your work weeks, and just switch up the seasonings, the flavors. It's really easy to change the whole experience of your meal with just some different seasonings and flavors. And finally, for nutrition, hydration, okay? We're gonna take a hydration break. Most people that I know do not drink nearly enough water. I can be guilty of this sometimes, where I wanna drink coffee all day long, and it'll be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, why do I have a headache? Because I have not had enough water. So a rule of thumb, super easy to follow, is half of your body weight in ounces of water each day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces of water. That's a good place to kind of start, and you can gauge from there. During the summers, if I am running like 8 miles on a Saturday midday and it's 90 degrees out, I'm obviously going to drink a lot more than just my 3 liters of water that I drink every day. So you're gonna kind of have to gauge it from there, but start with that as a good starting ground to kind of see where you're at with hydration. A couple of tips to help with hydration. Number 1, when you wake up, big glass of water, maybe a little pinch of salt, a little bit of lemon juice, okay? We need to rehydrate when we wake up. Our bodies have been asleep for hopefully like 7 to 8 hours. So we need to rehydrate first thing when we get up, and then you can have your coffee. If I can do it, you can do it, okay? And then drinking enough water throughout the day. A key tip that I like to give people is to get a cute water bottle. So I have a couple of these big tumblers. It's a 40-ounce tumbler. I just fill it up 3 times a day, and then I know that I am hitting my water goal. If you work in an office and you find that you forget your water often, buy an office water bottle. Just one that you keep at your office. You never take it home. Have one at home that you never take to your office, so you don't have to worry about that. There are so many kinds, as I'm sure you've seen, that you can get. You can even get ones that have like little time stamps. Like it'll be like 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m. To help give you that prompt, that reminder to make sure that you're drinking throughout the day and not trying to like chug it all at the end of the night. Let's move out of our physical body and into our physical space. So the next section, I want to talk about your home reset and home refresh. Our environments play such a huge role in our habits, our routines, and in our mental state. I don't know about you, but when I have a ton of clutter around, it really mentally makes me feel cluttered. It makes me feel stressed out, and I feel like I can't get anything done because the buildup of stuff in my space is like clogging my brain. So we're gonna make sure that we do a good declutter and a good clean out of some of our key spaces in our home. So one of my top spaces that I like to reset and refresh every quarter is my kitchen. my pantry, my fridge, and my freezer all get filled with junk. And I'm sure that you have gone in there a few times and pulled out a can, or some, maybe not a can because those last forever, but some spices, and you're like, whoa, this is expired. And you just put it back instead of throwing it away, right? So we are going to take some time to go through all three of those, your fridge, your freezer, and your pantry, and you're going to throw out anything that's expired, throw out anything that no one's going to eat, clean it out, and then put things back in an organized manner, because we want to see what do we currently have so that we can then restock with our healthier options that we are choosing for our nutrition. When you replenish your kitchen, I want you to think of a couple of key things. So first, we want to focus on some high quality proteins. So we're simple. We like to have some beef, some chicken, some fish, maybe some turkey, definitely tons of eggs. So those are our protein sources. Having some fruits and veggies. If you're getting fresh produce, 1000%, please, as soon as you get home, just wash everything. And if they're veggies, then chop them up, because if it's ready to eat, you're more likely to eat it, right? If you have to take out your thing of blueberries and wash it and dry it before you can eat them, but there's a bag of chips right there that's ready to grab and shove in your face, you're more likely to grab the chips. So make the healthy option as easy and accessible as the unhealthy options. One of my secret tips is that I like to stock up on frozen veggies because they're so much easier. You don't have to wash and chop and prep them. They're already ready, and you can just reheat them or throw them in the freezer. And you can just, cook them up on the stove or throw them in the oven or in the air fryer or whatever method you prefer to heat them up, and then they're ready to eat. So just make sure that you're checking that there's not a bunch of additives like sauces and preservatives and sugars and all that kind of stuff. It should just be frozen vegetables. And the same thing with fruits. Make sure there's not a ton of added sugars to that. Next, we're going to move into our bedroom and do a wardrobe clean out. This one I always need to do because I am the type of person that likes to, have sentimental items, and, I have an outfit that I'm like, oh, like I had this good memory in it, or I haven't been able to wear it, but like maybe one day I'll get invited to this very specific type of event, and then I can like wear this outfit that's probably never going to actually happen. So we need to go through and get rid of anything that we actually don't need, don't want, don't wear. So I like to divide everything into two piles. One is the toss pile. So this is anything that's like damaged. You wouldn't want to give it to anybody. You wouldn't want to wear it yourself because it's like stained or ripped or whatever. And then your donate pile. So if you have anything that you don't like, don't wear, don't fit into anymore, you can either, I like to usually let my family pick through it first, and then I donate it to a local organization like a women's shelter, or you can donate it to your church. I personally try to avoid places like Goodwill, but do what you want. Just get it out of your house. My next two tips are really just to help with like your ease of getting ready every single day. Again, if you are going into an office and you have limited time in the mornings. So first and foremost, you want to find 2 to 3 outfits that you feel super, super confident in, and that you can know that when you grab it and put it on, you're going to feel good. I don't know about you, but I have had way too many mornings where I spend way too long putting on outfit after outfit and hating how I look in everything. So making sure that you find a couple of key outfits that you feel amazing in no matter what, and then being able to just grab that out of your closet when you're in a rush, or if you have that combo, for example, if it's like slacks and a blouse, you always feel on point with that, then making sure that you have a few variations of that in your closet that you can grab at any time. My next tip is for overall decluttering. I like to identify key main areas of my house that build up a lot of clutter that I can focus on each day. So for me, I know that is our front entryway, my dining room table, and our kitchen counter. Those are like catch-alls for everything every single day. And I know that as the clutter builds, again, it stresses me out. So if I can take just a couple of minutes at the end of each day to just clean it off, put things where they belong, and put things away, I will feel so much better. So identify those couple of areas in your house that become the dumping grounds and just focus on a few minutes of picking things up each day. Another tip I have for you that has helped me is oftentimes I will get very overwhelmed when I'm like, I have to clean, or I start cleaning and I literally feel like I could spend all day for multiple days cleaning every inch of my house and still not get anything done and still feel like there's so much to do. It's just this never ending process, right? So I don't want you to focus on feeling like I need to clean my entire house or I need to spend hours cleaning. So set a timer for 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, keep it short and only clean for that amount of time. And then when the timer goes off, stop, you're done. This is gonna do a lot to not only help you like maintain cleanliness throughout the week, but also to help relieve that mental burden of feeling like if I start cleaning, I have to go on for hours and hours and hours, and I don't have the time to do that. These next couple of tips are more of that spring cleaning type of feel, but washing your windows, especially in the areas where you spend the most time, I think makes such a huge difference. So for example, I'm in my office right now and I can see how much pollen and grime has been built up on my windows. So between my office windows and then my living room, those are the areas where we get a lot of good natural light. And I'm going to be power washing those so that they are nice and clean and sparkly and all the beautiful natural light can come into those windows and fill my home and make me feel amazing. I also like to switch to lighter bedding. We are in Florida, so it doesn't get super cold, but we have a heavier comforter that we use for winter and then a lighter one that we use for summer. So if you want to switch out your bedding so that you have kind of like that lighter set as the weather starts to get warmer. And then we actually get into some deep cleaning. So I am going to just pick one designated area to focus on deep cleaning, and that is my baseboards. I know that's like in my whole house, but it's like one thing, singular thing. But I noticed the other day how much dust was built up on them. So I bought like this little baseboard cleaner and I'm gonna clean all my baseboards. And I know that's gonna be a project, okay? But find something, one thing that you can actually deep clean to start off your spring. And then this one is just a little bit more for fun, but I highly recommend getting some flowers or some plants if you are not like me and kill all of your house plants. I can no longer let myself in good conscience buy house plants because they all just die. But I've been loving getting some flowers like every other week, and I'll probably get them a little bit more consistently now that the weather's getting nicer, but it just adds a pop of color and freshness and like beautifulness to your home. And it makes me feel so happy whenever I see them. So I usually just have them in my kitchen or on my dining table, and it just brings me so much joy to see something beautiful in my home. So that's like a really easy way that you can just add a little bit of that spring excitement and beauty and have something alive and fresh and pretty in your home. And then finally for your home, you want to set up a maintenance schedule basically for your cleaning. I find that having a schedule and a routine makes such a difference from just like, okay, I have to clean everything all the time. It can be so overwhelming. So figuring out a schedule that works for you, having a few daily non-negotiables. For me, that is decluttering. So picking up those, common areas that gather things throughout the day, making sure I put things away, and then cleaning my kitchen, doing my dishes and cleaning my counters. If I can just do those three things before I go to bed, I feel good, even if there's stuff, elsewhere in the house. And then also setting up a weekly refresh and then a monthly deep clean so that you feel like you are, hitting all the things that you need to hit on a schedule and not feeling like you have to do everything every day all the time, because that's just too overwhelming and not realistic. So I know that on a weekly basis, I'm going to be doing my bedding change. I switch that out. I wash the old sheets. I put on the new ones. And then I am vacuuming, I'm mopping, I'm cleaning the bathrooms and just kind of doing an overall clean of the house. And then monthly or even like every 6 weeks or so, doing more of that deep clean, like I mentioned, like baseboards or like wiping down your walls and like cleaning your door handles and that kind of stuff that you're not going to do on a regular basis, but you can do on like a more regular cadence to make sure it gets done. Okay, my visitor has returned. My co-star is back. And just in time, we're diving into our mental refresh. And let me tell you that this boy right here, this snuggle bug, gave me the biggest mental refresh last year when we adopted him. It had been a while since my dog Peanut passed away. She was my soul dog. She died at 17, and it was just a really, really hard time for me. And this guy just kind of reopened my heart again, even though he's crazy. He's basically a little Tasmanian devil. And I love you. Okay, even your stinky breath. All right, so for your mindset reset, there's a couple things that I want you to focus on. Number one, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but for myself and for many others that I have seen, the beginning of this year has just been rough, okay? I know I set a ton of goals for 2025 and then I really didn't take action on anything, but I recognized that it wasn't because I was being lazy, it was because I was so mentally and physically exhausted and drained that it was really hard for me to focus on anything. And I wanted to let myself have that restoration, recovery time so that I could come back when I was feeling more energized and like in a better place. And that was a big mindset shift for me because in the past, I've always been that person that sets really big goals January 1st and it's like, boom, like we have to start now or nothing matters. So taking the time to have that little bit of a slow start. Yeah. Was really restorative for me. And I think a lot of people probably need to make that mindset shift. So I don't want you to feel hard on yourself if you either didn't even set any goals this year or you did set goals and you just haven't taken action on them yet. That's okay. Because, we needed that rest time. And now that it's spring, the world is starting to come back to life. The weather's warmer, there's more sunshine during the day, flowers are blooming, everything's growing, everything's turning green again. So now is the time for us to wake up and start to take action. Hey, I told you if you're going to be in here, there's no crying. There's no crying on YouTube. So the first thing that I want you to do is to make a list of at least 5 things that you've accomplished over this past season. I think it's so easy for us to feel like, I didn't do anything January and February because I haven't worked on my goals. But there are things that you have accomplished, even if they're really small. So for example, for myself, maybe I just started back into my lifting routine. So throughout January and February, I was hardly lifting at all. I was doing my marathon or my half marathon training, but I felt like, I told myself I was going to get back into my lifting routine and I haven't, and I was kind of feeling down on myself about that. But there were things that I was succeeding at. So for example, I did do my half marathon. I did amazing. I was very proud of myself. And I've done my mile a day every day this year. So that's like 78 days in total so far. And I haven't missed a day yet. So I do have things that I have succeeded at, and so do you. So no matter how small you think they are, write down a list of things that you've accomplished in the winter. Next, I want you to identify a few negative patterns that you want to change. So for example, I know one that I am working on is my negative self-talk. And I talked about this a little bit in my last video on self-sabotage. But anytime that I have a negative self-thought, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm fat, or I'm ugly, or I'm slow, or whatever the case may be, I immediately dismiss that thought. I say, that's not true, or I counter it with a positive thought. And, that's something that I am having to rewire my brain in, because for 30 years, basically, I have this habit of negative self-talk. So we all have some negative habits, especially women. I know that a lot of us have negative self-talk, and I really want you to identify that. And then as soon as you identify it, it helps to bring it to your conscious mind, and it makes it easier for you to start to recognize when you do it and start to counteract it. And then I also want you to identify one thing that you can do every day to put you in a positive mindset for the day. So for me, that is starting my morning with gratitude and prayer. So I always list out, what am I grateful for, and what are my prayers for the day. And just doing that short exercise, I just do 3 of each. Sometimes I have more, but if I do at least 3, then I know that I am starting the day in a great frame of mind, because I'm focusing on what my blessings are in my life and what I'm grateful for and what I'm looking forward to and what I'm asking God for help in, and I don't feel alone and negative. All right, I have a few other tips in here for your mindset. I'm not going to go through every single thing. I do want you to really focus on having downtime. this is something that I have struggled with so much. I've gotten better over the past few months. I really have, because I have put so much energy and effort into resting, which sounds ridiculous. But for most of my life, I have been that high achiever type where I felt like resting was laziness. And if I wasn't doing something, then I was being lazy. And if I was resting and relaxing, I felt guilty that I wasn't doing something, when I have this ever running to-do list of things that I could be doing instead, right? But I didn't realize how important rest, true rest, not just like vegging out on the couch, doom scrolling, but being intentional about your rest time and, doing things that do feel restful and relaxing and restorative for you, how much impact that has on your productivity, on your mental state, on your emotional health, on your physical health, on so many things. So being intentional about your downtime is so important. And I know it can feel like you don't have time for that. Again, going back to the women putting themselves on the back burner for everyone and everything else. I know that you have so many responsibilities on your plate, but I promise you, even if you can set aside 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes before bed, where you were just relaxed, you're like reading your favorite book, or, listening to a guided meditation to go to sleep or something like that. Please set aside that time every single day, even if it's just a short amount of time. And then I also like to set aside a longer amount of time on the weekends. So I try to block off at least half a day on the weekends where I'm not doing productive tasks. I'm not cleaning, I'm not working on my business, I'm not working out, I'm just relaxing, I'm chilling, hanging out, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm intentional about it. And lastly, for our mindset refresh, I want you to implement joy practices. I talked a little bit about this on a video I posted today about finding things that bring you joy and intentionally adding them to your days and your weeks. But I know it can get so monotonous with our, especially with our work weeks. Like, you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you go to sleep. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you go to sleep, over and over and over. And then on the weekends, you're like, great, I have to clean, I have to run errands, and now it's Monday again. So intentionally, finding the pockets of time throughout your day or your week and inserting things that just like bring you joy, even if it's so small and like just a short amount of time. So some of the examples I have here, like, number one is to create a list of 5-minute joy activities. So this can be something like, texting somebody that you love, or doing a quick phone call, or putting on your favorite song and dancing. I was out in the garage with Zeus the other day during my workout, and like this really great song came on, and I just started dancing, and he was like jumping around with me, and it was just so fun, and like just being silly and in the moment just brought me so much joy. So something as simple as that can be, really fun and really easy to do. Hobbies are also a great way to add more joy and happiness and fun into your life. I forgot about hobbies for the longest time, and I was like, work, and I burnt myself out. But I've been implementing some hobbies, trying some new hobbies into my life, and it's been so much fun. I have started picking up golf. I'm not great at it, but I enjoy wearing the cute golf outfits and like going out there and trying. And anytime I get frustrated, I just remind myself, this is for fun. I also started doing pottery painting, which I absolutely love. And I'm slowly replacing my entire coffee mug collection with like mugs that I'm painting. This week I want to try to do like maybe some like a plate and a matching mug or something like that. I don't know. I love just scouring Pinterest for ideas now for that. But just finding a new hobby or things that you can try, or maybe like revisiting an old hobby that you used to have and that you put aside and like haven't thought about for years, but bringing that back into your life. Another thing that is so helpful is to schedule something into your week that you can look forward to. Whether, like I mentioned, like I've been doing some pottery painting, so I've been going like once a week for the past few weeks, or last weekend, my mom and I had a girls' weekend out in Orlando. So we went to dinner and a show, and it was so much fun. And you have to make sure that you're scheduling these things into your week so that you have something to look forward to besides just working and going to sleep. All right. Even if it's small, it doesn't even have to be that big, or spending money. It can be going to the park for a walk, or going to watch the sunset, or trying a new recipe or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or expensive. Just find something that you can look forward to. I know that we have covered a lot of information in this video, and I know it can feel like, how the heck am I supposed to even do all of this stuff? First and foremost, you don't have to do all of this in one day, okay? This is not like a spring reset day and you like cram everything in. I plan to do these things over like the next few weeks and just stretch it out, get it done, but not kill myself to get it done, kind of thing, right? So don't feel like you have to do everything all at once. Maybe pick one area that you want to focus on first. So if you want to focus on your fitness and nutrition first, and then you can like add in the cleaning elements later on or something like that, definitely you can do that. Another key thing that you want to think about is your keystone habit. Or like your big domino. What is the big thing that if you created that habit would make everything else so much easier? So for example, if that is picking out your workout clothes the night before, that sounds silly, but if you pick out your workout clothes the night before, when you wake up in the morning, you can get dressed right away, which means you don't have to think about, do I want to get up and work out? Do I want to find my workout outfit? What am I going to wear? You just immediately grab your workout clothes, put them on, brush your teeth, and go work out. And because you got up early to work out, you now have time to make sure that you prep a good breakfast. And because you have a good breakfast, you have more energy throughout the day and you're more productive at work, and you make better choices at lunch because you feel good and you don't want to destroy that. And you don't have to have that afternoon snack or candy bar because you already have good energy. And then when you get home, you still feel good. So you make a good dinner and then you feel good from having a good dinner, and you go for a walk with your family and now you're spending quality time with them. So do you see how one small decision can have a domino effect on the rest of your life? So figure out what is that one habit that can really set you up for success throughout your day. Humans are such visual creatures, so having visual reminders of the goals that you want to achieve, the habits that you want to do, motivational, inspirational types of things around you is going to make a huge difference. So whether this is, scheduling things in your Google Calendar, which is the main calendar system that I use, putting up Post-it notes. On my bathroom mirror, I have a ton of Post-it notes with, scripture and motivational things, so that as I'm brushing my teeth every morning and every night, I'm reading through those, so I'm feeling good. I'm putting good stuff into my brain. You can also set your, wallpaper on your phone. I have mine set up as my vision board, so it's kind of every time I look at my phone, I'm reminded of the goals that I have. You can also schedule reminders to pop up throughout the day, like, hey, work out, hey, drink some water, whatever it is that's going to help you stay on track and stay motivated towards your goals. Make sure that you're implementing that into your physical, environment with these reminders. And I'll probably do a whole video on creating habits. I have done a podcast on that in the past, so I'll link that in the video description below as well. But a few tips for helping you create these new habits. Number one is to habit stack. So that's where you're tying a habit that you desire to a habit that you already do. Easiest example, I drink coffee every single morning, and no, I will not delay it 90 minutes after I wake up, sorry. But I drink coffee every single morning. So I tied my journaling, my morning journaling and gratitude practice to drinking my coffee. So every single morning as I'm drinking my coffee, I fill out my journal. So that's why I've been able to do it so consistently this entire year, even though it's a brand new habit and I struggled so much with it in the past, because I tied it to that existing habit. Again, I mentioned planning for obstacles earlier, and I have that obstacle planning podcast episode. I'll link in the description. But coming up with your if-then scenarios. So like, if I have to work late, then I will do XYZ, or if I can't do my full workout, then I will do a 10-minute workout. If I can't do that, then I'll go for a 5-minute walk. Coming up with your backup plans is going to be so helpful in helping you keep that momentum going when you can't do the full intention of your habit or routine. And finally, just having a support system that you can turn to as you are doing this reset on your life and you're trying to, build out these new routines. I know that it can feel like a lot, and it can feel kind of lonely sometimes, and it can also feel challenging if you feel like you're not being supported. So if you share your goals with people, share it with your family, share it with your friends, or share it with an online community who has similar goals, then you're not only building a community of support and encouragement for, those times when you start to feel unmotivated and kind of down, or you feel like you're not making progress, you can lean on them. But if you're sharing it with the people that you encounter on a regular basis, you are also getting support from them. For example, if you are trying to keep your house tidy, having your family help contribute to that, or at least be aware of that so that they're not going against what you're trying to accomplish. Or if you're wanting to wake up early and work out, sharing that with your spouse so that they can be supportive of that, or maybe get up and work out with you. So just having some community, whether it's in person or online, is going to go a long way in helping you feel supported and encouraged. And then I also finish out this checklist with just a couple of 5-minute reset options. So if you just feel like, I need that checkbox moment for the day to just feel good. I know for me, being able to check off a box, no matter how small the task is, feels good. Sometimes I can write down something I already did and check it off and feel good about it. So I also included a couple of really quick things that you can do just to kind of, reset, refresh, and feel good. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know which area of your life you are really wanting to refresh and reset this spring. And remember, if you have not, worked on your goals yet this year, that's totally fine. Spring is a time of renewal, renewed energy, renewed life, and we can really take advantage of this and just bring those goals back to life, or bring new goals into our lives if the ones that we set back in January no longer align with us, because that can totally be the case. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one, and share this video with someone that you think might find it helpful. That really helps me grow the channel. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you next time.